Alright, gents, today we're talking about Eustass Kid. Wow, what a character. What's going on with Kid, man? Well, I don't think we actually know, because the last thing we saw of him, he's just, wet. And if you're someone without an astute eye, you might think he's in prison. So why are we talking about him? Well, it's his birthday! Hey, okay, not really. It's close, though. So I thought, what a better time to talk about and potentially summarize Eustass Kid. So, here we go. Wait. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm getting a ping from my editor here. Oh, okay. I see. I misread the intro here. What a better time to talk shit about Eustass Kid, because goddamn, that guy sucks. You know, when we first met Kid, he was kind of portrayed to us as one of the big three, along with Luffy and Law. We saw him fighting alongside Luffy and Law at Sabaody. So Oda's really telling us, hey, this character is going to be big in the New World. He's going to be relevant moving forward. He's going to be one of the top 3 supernovas. Also, his bounty was also one of the top in the supernovas as well, not because of strength, but because of his viciousness and his ruthlessness and how he would attack civilians, so the Marines gave him a higher bounty. So not really truly warranted kind of from the get-go for me. I was kind of thinking, okay, this guy's whole power is that he can get a bunch of swords and guns together and make it into a big hammer and fist and hit someone. Not really in love with that. And then we saw Law, right? It's like, what is happening with him? He's dismembering Marines at Sabaody. So from the beginning, in my eyes, Kid was kind of behind the 8 ball, and boy, did he do nothing in the New World to really fix that idea for me. Okay, so why do I think Kid might actually be done in the story altogether, which is kind of a weird thing to say for someone that has been built up for a while, kind of at Sabaody. We see him all the time at Wano. We've heard kind of what he's been doing here or there. I think it just makes a lot of sense, right? Because the moment we meet Kid, we get introduced to him as this guy that's willing to kill civilians, kind of an anti-hero to Luffy, as you will. All he wants to do is fight emperors, move up in the world, and become king of the pirates, right? Well, we get introduced to Kid, as I was saying, kind of like a opposite to Luffy, a more traditional pirate, if you will. I use the word anti-hero, which I guess really isn't true, because Luffy on multiple occasions has said, hey, I'm not a hero, I'm a pirate, although he kind of obviously does act more like a hero. So, what have we seen from Kid historically? Well, let's dive down and see what he's been up to. Well, we didn't see. He loses to Shanks. Ben Beckman takes his arm. Okay, that's an emperor. He gets wiped by Kaido, imprisoned, and Killer has to eat a smile fruit. Okay. And then recently in Elbaf, he gets beaten by Shanks again. Now, and I know those are or were emperors. Okay, fine. But still, that's kind of what Kid's entire goal has been is, hey, I want to take on emperors, move up, and become king of the pirates. So we kind of see him fail and kind of try what he's wanted to do. And where is the story moving? The story is kind of moving towards more of, okay, we're really starting to get into the end game here. The world government, Blackbeard, those are going to be kind of the main antagonists we're seeing moving forward. Where does Kid fit into that? I really don't think he does. From a moral compass standpoint, why would he go fight Emu in the world government? He doesn't care. He does whatever he wants to do. And as I said, we've seen him already try to get at his highest goals, and he's failed. So it really wouldn't make sense for Kid to come back and be like, hey, Luffy, I'm ready to help you against the world government. Luffy be like, why? I don't know. Well, although it wouldn't make sense, there was also the question of, hey, is Kid even alive? And I think the answer is yes. We know that he's kind of sinking into the ocean. His ship got destroyed, and his entire crew was falling down there with him. But Oda doesn't really just kind of kill characters without telling us. They're usually in flashbacks. We see, of course, Cobra's died recently. We saw T-Bone, Ace in the middle of the story. But typically, Oda does not just randomly kill characters without telling us. If I were to guess, he's going to be in an Elbaf prison. And you know, actually, when I was researching this video, I didn't see anyone talk about, if he's in an Elbaf prison right now, is he going to come back in the current arc and help the Straw Hats? Boy, I really hope there isn't a scene where he's in the prison and it's like, hey, let me out and I can help you. Kind of like Loki in the underworld. We just have this with Kid and he can magically help against the Gods Knights. I do not want that to happen. I really don't. But it might make some sense because he's in the Elbaf that we'd see him again. But not something I personally want to see. And you might kind of naturally be thinking, hey, since Kid is probably not going to be relevant in the story, how about Law? Kind of on similar trajectories. We see Law with Kid and Luffy in early Sabaody. They're kind of grouped in that trio. Are we going to see Law? Well, I think it's a little bit different. Where has Law been as of recent? Well, after Wano, he went to Winter Island, where he unfortunately met Blackbeard. We know that the Polar Tang is sunk, and he got basically swam out of there by Beppo. So we're not really sure where Law is. We know he's alive, and I think he's probably a better person than anyone to heal him, as he has the Appi Appi no Mi. But Law, I think, makes a lot more sense as someone that would be helping Luffy against Blackbeard or against Emu. Hell, he got attacked by Blackbeard, so that would make a ton of sense to begin with as revenge. But from a moral compass standpoint in the world government, but for Law, I think it would make more sense from a couple standpoints, a morality standpoint, and then a working with Luffy standpoint. Because remember, Luffy's worked with Law a lot longer than he's worked with Kid. That basically just kind of happened in Wano when they found him. Kid's been kind of a lone wolf this whole time, and Law was like, "Hey, Luffy, I need you to help get rid of Kaido." So one, he has a relationship with Luffy, and two, I think he does have a more of a moral standard, and he's probably smart enough to know, hey, this world government thing is probably not good, and he sees that a war is coming and realizes that he's going to have to pick a side, and he'd obviously go with Luffy. And one other thing, I do want to talk about Kid's Devil Fruit, because maybe it's just me. I think he has one of the worst paramecias that we've actually seen, and you might disagree with that. Please let me know what you think. But the moment he was introduced at Sabaody, I was like, man, I just don't buy this guy. His entire thing is that he can get a bunch of metal, usually guns and swords together, and build them into a big arm. We did see in Elbaf where he had kind of a laser gun that Shanks would have seen that would have done a lot of damage and wiped out a ton of his ships. But that basically means that he needed to have time to use it, which again, I guess you could say, and yes, Shanks used observation hockey to see that that was going to happen ahead of time, and most characters may not have the ability to do that. I just don't know if that's some great world-ending Devil Fruit and attack. But you guys tell me. But what I will say is I'm so sad that Captain John is gone. I don't think we know how Captain John died right after. I know he got attacked by Ganjui in God Valley, and then I'm pretty sure he got away with some treasure. Obviously, we know he's at, or was at Thriller Bark, at least his corpse, so we did get to see him a little bit. But man, Captain John seemed like a fun dude, just drinking booze and hunting treasure. It seems like it was a perfect devil fruit for him. Wait, am I right that treasure has like metallic principles to it? Would he have been able? I think he was able to use something like that. I don't know. Captain John was great, and I think he was a much more entertaining user of the Jiki Jiki no Mi. So I will say, I know I've been talking a lot of trash about Kid, and when I went to do his accomplishments, they're more of just a list of L's. But there is one thing I forgot, is that he was able to go into Big Mom's territory, get a copy of the Road Poneglyph, fight and injure Snack before getting chased out. So Kid did do something relevant. And kind of talking about the Supernovas in general, I mean, I know we've seen clips of most of them. They've been at least fighting alongside or against relevant in the Straw Hats in the New World. But, what's going on with the Rouge? You know what I mean? We ask the tough questions on this channel. Similarly, I think I mentioned this in my Don Krieg video. If you want to kind of go one video back and say, hey, what's going on with Don Krieg? Spoiler alert, probably nothing. But, we tried to figure it out because it doesn't make sense that Don Krieg hit the New World. But speaking of stuff that doesn't make sense, riddle me this. Where was Bogard during Garp's fight versus Akiji on Hachinosu when they were saving Kobe? Where was he? We saw Bogard in the flashbacks at God Valley, so he's with him in important moments, okay? That God Valley comment doesn't really have any relevance, but I wanted to say it because it looks really cool if you've seen that scene, where he's just kind of there, like, yeah, I got my sword. But really, where was he during the fight against Aokiji and trying to save Kobe? He could have been, I don't know, trying to help evacuate people as Garp ordered. Okay, fine. Maybe he was at headquarters trying to smooth over the fact that Garp's attacking an emperor unsolicited. I don't know. We're going to figure it out, although we basically just did. My man Bo D-Guard. Okay, we got off topic there a little bit, but kind of in summary, right? Kid sucks. His devil fruit sucks. And he's probably still alive, just at the bottom of the ocean. Got rescued by Shanks, summoned on his crew, summoned of the pirate. He's in an Elbaf prison, which, yep, that's where the story's currently at. So maybe he's going to come back and help the Straw Hats. Who knows? But in general, that's kind of what I'm thinking. If you have any other thoughts, maybe Kid will become someone more relevant. Maybe he will actually fight against the world government, fight against Blackbeard, fight against Luffy. Who knows? If you guys have any thoughts, feel free to let me know. Always down to get down in the comment section. If you want to watch that aforementioned Don Krieg video, it got real dumb real quick. It should be linked right here or right here. Anyways, I appreciate y'all watching if anybody did, and if you could drop a sub, it'd be much appreciated. It would allow you to see all the videos that come out. Should be some daily One Piece content, probably going to add some shorts in there as well. So anyways, that's it for me. I'll see y'all next time.